First of all, I just want to acknowledge and appreciate and thank you.
We're all having a good time, really.
Yeah.
There would be nothing happening here if it were not for you all.
Yeah. So, in the last 24 hours, I've had a pretty intense level of contrast.
Good.
Literally.
We mean not bad. We mean helpful.
Yeah.
Helpful.
So there was basically a physical domestic violence situation in my home yesterday. It was very intense. We're physically bruised, emotionally battered, and then an hour later I got a free ticket to come to see you. It's also my 22nd wedding anniversary today, and my wife and we have that kind of soul relationship because I've been studying you with my friends for 20 plus years, and she knew that the best thing for all of us was for me to be here.
Well, you don't have to give any details, but it's all right to activate that into the stick if you want to. Let us lay some groundwork here for clarity. Things lead to things, lead to things, lead to things, lead to things. And so there's momentum and there's escalation. That's just what the law of attraction is all about, isn't it?
Yes.
And so if you've got something going on, here you are with a mix of things that you're thinking about, and therefore a mix of vibrations that are activated within you, and others too. So as you're moving about, something that's really, really active can meet up with something else that's really, really active, and then there's something that looks like it just happened suddenly, but it was never sudden. It was a while in coming, and there were plenty of points of diffusion that people miss all the time because they're not deliberately focusing for the purpose of alignment with who they really are. And so when something escalates and it's really, 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 really big, it puts a really, really, really big desire into the vortex. In other words, that's what we mean when we say it's helpful. It's helpful because so many decisions to let go and so many decisions to focus come from situations like that. Yeah. So now we'll hear you.
So so I have two children, and both of them are adopted through foster care. And through my Vortex group, which is what we call ourselves, there's a group of us here that have been meeting every week for like 13 years. We have been focusing on, mostly my son, to turn out to be quite a guy. And he's got a lot of emotional and cognitive disabilities, like just all kinds of stuff. And by focusing on what's promising versus what is.
How old was he when he came to you?
16 months.
So he's been with you a while.
Yeah. And so he, with him, I've really been flexing my muscle and being really good at seeing him as his inner being versus everything else. And it's working. It's doing great.
Yeah.
And then I have this other one who, ironically, was the reason I got the understanding of how it takes the entire cooperative components to come together to sometimes form a rocket of desire. Because when I was in my early 20s, I had this best friend who was my best friend, but then is also an addict, and I couldn't save them. Like she's gone. And then through no knowledge of my own, I ended up adopting their cousin. So this child is now mine, and all this time, my big wish with this friend, was to help her out of this cyclical violence and poverty and everything else. And so then, now I have this child, and even though we've all done our best, because I was raised with violence, and we've had violence in our home, I have been, never hit my kids before, but I definitely yelled, and my kid has had trauma, and long story short, yesterday I yelled, she chased me down, beat me up, I ended up physically throwing her out of my home. And what's weird to me is that I don't feel like they're all really devastated, and even there may be some huge consequences here, I don't know. But I'm still, I've worked for so long, and I've had all this knowing that I'm on the right path. And even though it isn't solved yet, there is a path toward healing and peace that is getting created. And so while I'm doing my best to keep my vibe high and to focus just on me and what I need to do to stay okay and centered, living with 3 people that have ADHD and trauma and all of that and my past violence, there are times when we have our when we know it builds and we don't see it coming, and then bam. And I know.
Well, you don't see it coming because you accept the vibrational discord.
Right. Yeah.
And in accepting it, practice it.
Yeah.
And everybody's practicing it, and then the law of attraction is bringing it together. People say it just came out of the blue, and we use a strong word. We say it came out of the oblivious. But it came out of the unwillingness to find alignment anyway. Is it all right with you all if we go over on this time? It's best if we stay right here and do this for about 10 minutes. So let's start with your knowing. We know you know it, that there's more going on vibrationally than anybody knows. And that most people are not deliberately directing their vibration. So we're going to say something to start that sounds really simplistic, that it doesn't matter where they came from, doesn't matter who their familiar roots are, doesn't matter what happened then and then and then and then and then, and it doesn't matter what just happened. It doesn't matter in the sense that we don't have to sort it out and understand it and fix it. All that's necessary is that we're talking to you, and that's enough. All that's necessary is that what happened, it has caused more clarity from your inner being on this subject than has ever been active in the universe before, and more clarity from your perspective than has ever been active before. And so there is a strong relationship between wanted and unwanted that is all that you have to think about. In other words, you could say, she ran me down and beat me up. Well, those emotions naturally would be disappointment, probably strong anger at the time, frustration, almost desperation, disappointment being the strongest vibration in that. But on the other end of this is more desire for love for this person than has ever been generated between you and your inner being before. Because this relationship started a long time ago. And what you put into the vortex day after 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 day counts for something really, 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 really important. And what this subject is about, it sounds like domestic violence. It isn't. It sounds like somebody acting out and beating the crap out of you. That isn't what it's about. It sounds like you retaliating, and that's not what it's about. What it is about, and all that it is about, is your split energy. That's all that it is about. That's all that you have to talk about, and it's all that it does any good to talk about. Because you have no power when your energy is split. So every moment you spend explaining, and we do appreciate it for continuity, explaining or defending or justifying or even trying to make rational sense of it, every moment that you spend from that end of the stick trying to define it or describe it or fix it, doesn't fix it, it makes it more.